fantastic brand, because people know what that means. And the next thing we're moving on to, as I've just mentioned, thanks for the question, is how on earth do you then get the internal marketing done? And really understand where those people are coming from. Because to me, the idea of social marketing is not a kind of push or a pull. It's learning about the customer, learning about your partners, and kind of evolving together in the direction you want it to go. That's how we do it.
What I'd like to do now is give the panel just the opportunity to say their final couple of sentences and answer the question, does ethical marketing have a place in the credit crunch? And if so, why? You're looking at me in fear. You're right next to me, so I'll start. I'll start with Geoff. You've got about 20 seconds. You said enough? All right. Okay, Andy.
Well, obviously, yes. I mean, I'd be daft to say no, but I think ultimately what matters is that your organisation actually has credibility, that your marketing is like a stick of Blackpool rock, that basically it's got the message right the way through the heart of it, and if it hasn't got it right the way through the heart of it, then don't even bother. You know, there is a well-known major coffee company based in Switzerland that has one fair trade product that is bombed, doesn't really sell at all. And it's because it doesn't have the stick of rock effect. Nobody looks at that product and says, wow, that's an organisation that's ethical to its core. That's an organisation that lives by its values. That's an organisation that has transparency. If your organisation has those things, then use ethical marketing.
Okay.
From my point of view, it's all about culture and not policy. Get a culture into the environment that you will live and work in, rather than just stick a policy on the wall and pay homage to it.
Thank you. Peter?
Yes, always be ethical in your marketing, always market right through a credit crunch, and look at the opportunities that meet with your organisational values, or look to develop your organisational values and then your products and services to maximise the opportunities that arise from ethical issues.
Thank you.
Okay, so finally, kind of a word for change. I think tough economic times make people think differently, and taking the lead from what we've seen in the US, there is a mood for change in the US, and I think globally. Fair trade is a really practical day-to-day way everybody can get involved with that change, and also it's a growing market, and I think a tough economic climate could be the opportunity to get into it. So I'd encourage anyone here from any company who isn't involved in fair trade, it's really easy to get involved and go for it.
That was a shameless plug and an answer. That was really impressive. One point of honour, these gentlemen's names and bios and things weren't in the brochure that you've got, but now you know who they are. You can either run away from them or you can engage them in conversation afterwards. They'd love to talk to you about this. I think that's been really interesting. It is a difficult question to answer because you can't answer no, and possibly it needs rephrasing or approaching from a different perspective, but I think the things to draw out from what we've heard today is that your ethical approach can only be authentic if it's credible, if it's Blackpool Rock right the way through the company, that it has to be something that the company has as part of its culture, but that you can take advantage as a marketer of the winds of change, which seem to be blowing slightly more fresh through both America and Europe over the course of the last week or so, if not increasingly over the last couple of years, to ensure that any campaign that you are part of, that you're briefing or that you're advising your clients about, does contain some element of ethical marketing in whatever profiling, whatever mix of marketing communications mechanisms you use. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would join me in thanking our panel very much indeed, and do talk to them. Exit stage, yeah?